How's it going? Kick here. Today we're going to be talking about playing a paladin. I'm not talking about any sort of paladin. I'm talking about the retribution paladin. More specifically, deep ret. We're going to talk a little bit about reckoning and whatnot, but specifically this guy's going to be covering the premise of deep ret. I'll eventually maybe do a PvE guide, but for now this is just purely PvP. We're going into phase 3 pretty soon, so we're going to be looking at BGs and whatnot, and this is going to be focused on that. Today we're going to have the 4 main focuses of playing PvP as a ret paladin. We have the build, the stats, your rotation, and your matchups. 4 things that you have to know to play ret, at least effectively to play ret. So there are 2 main builds that typically ret paladins will use. You have deep ret, the build that I personally use. It's a build that I like. It's more versatile than any other pally build. You can dish out damage in PvP and PvE content. I find the main issue with this build is you go really fast. Besides that, with the right gear, you always have a fighting chance no matter what situation. 1v1, 2v1, you typically sort of have an ability to sort of get yourself out of there. Let's go on to the holy tree. So here you're gonna have 13 points in holy. We're doing just baseline, 10% strength and intelligence. It's really good. It just helps overall with your overall class, right? After that, after those 10 points, you're gonna put 1 point in consecration. This helps you with AoE. It also is really good if you're fighting a rogue. Drop in an AoE consecrate, maybe a rank 1, boom, pops the rogue out of stealth, and you have more potential to beat that rogue, right? Now this is a sleeper talent, alright? Now this is one that I personally love to take. It makes warlocks hate me, it makes shadow priests hate me, and it's called unyielding faith. This gives you a 10% chance to resist fears, alright? This is amazing, dude. Actually helps a lot, actually good. You guys should really try it out.
Okay, listen, listen, pay attention, okay? Listen, pay attention, okay? Listen, paladins are a hard counter, dude. Paladins hard counter warlocks. Paladins are a hard counter. Listen to me, man. Listen the fuck up. Paladins are a hard counter to warlocks. Everyone fucking knows it. It's a hard counter to warlocks. Everyone knows it, dude. Come the fuck on. Are you really trying to shit talk over this? Oh, God. You know what? You know what, dude? Okay, this is so...
But you do lose something. I'm going to show you what you guys are going to lose. So we're going to the prot tree. Alright, here's something a lot of paladins I've seen out here don't take improved devotion aura. This is one of the best talents in the game for outdoor world PvP. If you're out running around, don't have sanctity aura on. Have devotion aura on. Last thing you want to do, alright, you get jumped by a rogue, you don't have time to swap to your shield. Right? You've got your weapon out, you've got demon shear, you've got BRE, you're sitting there, you get jumped by a rogue, what are you gonna do? Right? Your sanctity aura, boom, you're dead. Devotion aura though, improved devotion aura gives you a fighting chance to get off your mount and whack the guy, right? That extra 900 and something armor is crazy, and it helps a lot. Here's the thing you lose. You lose 1 point of precision for taking unyielding faith. Now, this is something that I do personally. 1% hit, I can sort of make up. I'm a human paladin. You get your plus to swords and maces, so I sort of make that up. A lot of people, they feel like they can't make it up. They don't want to respec every week. I understand. Put 1 point in unyielding faith, put 3 points in precision. If you don't really want to respec every raid. If you feel like 1% is that big for you. Personally, 1%, if that's killing you, there's other issues with your gear, with your build, go do some of that, right? But this is my personal best set that I could do with thinking about world PvP and BGs, sort of dealing with those classes that are very dominant. Alright, now we're going to ret. 31 points. Oh god, dude. 31 points into ret. Now, here's the thing. I've seen a lot of ret paladins, and this is a bit selfish, I'm not gonna lie. This is selfish. I don't take improved Blessing of Might, I take Benediction. A lot of people don't think the mana reduction from Benediction is worth it. I personally think it is. In longer PvP fights against certain classes, which are priests and pastors specifically, it will turn into a mana fight. 100%. It will turn into a mana fight if you're playing it well and they're playing it well, right? That little bit of mana you're saving from Benediction is gonna help in the long run of those fights. Next, we have Deflection, just more defense against melee. It helps. Sometimes you have a rogue come up to you and, you know, you get them out of stealth, they pop evasion, and it's just a parry and dodge fight, right? It sometimes happens, and you're just praying for your Hodge to come back. We have Improved Judgment, more damage. Another thing with this is there's sort of a combo you can do right now. You do your Hodge, your Hammer of Justice, get that off. Right when that pops, Judge, right? And you're auto-attacking. The second your Hammer of Justice ends, your Repentance. But because you have Improved Judgment, you'll have enough time to be able to hit him again with the Judgment. Maybe get a couple ticks of bandage. It really helps out in the long run. That extra damage that we're about to talk about is going to be killer in the long run. Okay, so next on the talent tree we have Pursuit of Justice. Huge. 8% movement speed is huge. As in Classic, movement speed is actually crazy. I've been able to beat rogues in the world and beat rogues in duels by literally just running away for 30 seconds, waiting for my mana regen to hit, and then hitting them with like Judgment. Keeping them in combat, hitting them with Judgment, waiting for that mana regen, keeping them in combat. And it's actually stupid how strong this talent is and how many people sleep on the potential this talent has. If you have this talent, you can out-joust any warrior. You can kite most melee. You can catch up to any caster. This talent is stupid good. Even with minor speed boots, you'll be able to catch up to a mage. You'll be able to catch up to locks, to priests. Druids are a little finicky. They got tribal form, but that's a long story. Alright, on to the next one. We have Seal of Command. Seal of Command has a proc that deals 70% of your weapon damage. Baseline. And that has a chance to crit. It also has that variable between your total weapon damage. It's really good. It procs a decent amount of time. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It is an RNG class. It is an RNG ability. It's a proc, right? But the key is you get consistent damage if you use it with a stun or an incap. Guess what you have? You have that stun, you have that improved judgment, so you're able to do more damage with that Seal of Command over and over again, and it keeps on getting better. Conviction. You have 5% crit. That's it. It's amazing. Crit's your best stat in the game. We're going to get more into that later. But Conviction is great. You're going to get more Vengeance procs out of it. We're about to talk about Vengeance in a second. Going on to the next one. Two-handed weapon specialization. More baseline damage never hurts. It scales with your Seal of Command. More Seal of Command damage. More baseline damage. Just overall damage. Sanctity Aura. 10% more damage. Holy damage. Your Seal of Command proc is holy damage. It ignores all armor. That's why it's so good. So that scales with your Seal of Command, so you're dealing 10% more. And it's just, things are starting to add up here. You see where it's going, right? We're just adding up, alright? Now, you do have a talent to play with here. At this point, you'll be full on ret. You need to put 1 point in ret. You could go for eye for an eye. I put mine in Vindication. That puts a 5% agility debuff. Just, it's a proc chance. It's another RNG ability. Puts a proc 5% minus agility on the person you hit. That's reduced dodge, that's reduced crit chance. I love that. For me, it's something that I love having. I don't like getting critted. I don't like getting damage I don't like taking. So reducing someone's damage for 10 seconds always helps. And that's just my personal thing. You can play with that. A lot of people go for eye for an eye. Do what you want. Improved red aura is never bad. You can go for that, or improved seal of Crusader, but that's a little finicky. I'm not about that life. I personally don't like it, but to each his their own, right? This is more of like the one point of fun you get, right, in this build. Now, Vengeance. Vengeance is your most important buff that you can put on yourself, right? This buff procs 100% of the time if you get a crit. And what it does, it gives you 15% more damage on physical and holy. 15%, that's a lot, right? This is when you get this, you're using your mana pot to give yourself a max rank seal of command. You're doing max rank consecrate. You're swapping the sanctity aura if you're in Devo aura. You're going all in. You're dropping your Hodge now, okay? This is when you go all in, okay? Repentance. This is my favorite ability that Ret Paladins have, and this is the reason why I play Ret Paladin. I feel like it's hard to explain it's hard to explain how I feel about this ability, just because it's fun to use. It's essentially a 6-second in-cap you can use in combat. An in-cap is like a sap, right? Any damage you do during it cancels the stun. It's 6 seconds long. You can use it in a couple different ways, all right? You can use it, oh shoot, I'm low health. Let me in-cap this guy and heal myself. Or, here's the 5-head, 200 IQ move, right? The guy's at 50% health, right? You Hammer of Justice him. He's stunned. You do your damage, you judge, do your damage. He gets out of the second that Hammer of Justice goes down, you use Repentance. Boom. Another 6 seconds done. What DR's turned into 4 seconds. He's like, oh shoot, dude, what am I gonna do? You seal a command, you wait for that 1 second, you judge him, boom, what just happened? He took double damage from 2 seal a command judgments. It's actually crazy good to use for a confirmed kill. And what do I by confirmed kill? I mean, like, it's your execute, right? Typically by then, they're 20% or below. You know, you throw that hammer, you execute that big boy, dude, and it's an easy kill, dude. HKs all day, baby. Alright, we're going to the next one. Alright. This is the build. This is a build. How am I going to say this? This is the meme build of all meme builds. If you thought basic Ret Pally was a meme build, just wait till you see this build, okay? Here, we fish for enemy crits. This is the one where you see Esfand in Alterac Valley hitting a goat once and sitting in front of it for 3 minutes, waiting for 5 crits to hit him.
Good. What are you doing with that goat? Hey, listen. You gotta do what you gotta do, dude. That's what it takes.
Hard to beat casters just because you don't have that second stun. It's sort of hard to do it. Can't really do any PvE content, so you're gonna be sort of spending money on respecs if you're trying to do other stuff. And even the meme builds, like the Ret Paladins, the Boomkins, are gonna make fun of you for playing this build. Just an FYI, it happens. It's crazy, dude. I know. So this is the build I personally go with when I play Ret Reckoning. There's a couple other Reckoning builds that you can go for, but this is the Ret Reckoning. Okay, we're doing a Ret video, so it's Ret. We're taking Guardian's Favor. Gives you 120 seconds off your Blessing of Protection, which is really good. And it also increases your duration of Blessing of Freedom, which is amazing, dude. You pop this, you won't be slowed by anyone for a minute. You get Blessing of Kings, which is the best buff in the game, 5% anything. And now we're gonna go into why Reckoning exists and how to use it. Alright? So the way Reckoning works is whenever you're getting an attack, whenever you're getting attacked, you gain a stack of Reckoning when someone crits you. If you hit someone after you get that stack, you get an extra auto attack. So this thing stacks up to 5 times, so you can get 5 stacks of extra auto attacks. There's a way you can sort of cheese the game so that you get you get instant crits, alright? And the way it works is if you sit like 0.3 seconds before their attack animation starts, they'll instant crit you. It's 100% confirmed. You always will crit if you're in the sitting animation. There we go. So you just do that. You get like a goat to hit you 5 times. You walk up to anyone, boom. A rogue jumps you on the road. Rogues are stacking crit. They're gonna hit you. They're gonna crit you 5 times. Boom, dead. All right. There's a lot of different things. This build's a bit finicky, as you can tell. The way you track whether or not you get crits, if you don't have like combat text or whatever, is you put points into readout. Every time that procs, which it has a 100% chance to proc whenever you get critted, so you can look for that physical animation for that proc, and you just count how many times that pops up. Boom, 5. You see it pop up 5 times, and then it just hit someone. It's easy. I take 4 points of toughness, just that way the crit damage is a lot lower because you're fishing for them. And then improved Hammer Justice, because stunning people is fun, and catching up to them is super fun when you have 5 stacks, so you can just stun them, walk up to them, and whack them. Alright. So, our rotation here. Dude, this is the hardest part about playing Red Paladin. We steal a command, we use Judgment, we steal a command, and we auto-attack. It's hard. It's actually pretty simple. There are a couple caveats to our rotation here. The reason why I don't have any of the stuns, any bubbles, any heals on it is because it's all based on your situation. Every situation is going to be different. Certain times you're going to want to stun early, certain times you're going to want to stun late, right? Personally, if you don't know, always stun early. If you're not really sure about what situation you're in, stun early, get that high-end damage on, especially in PvP, get that damage out. Because if you don't get the kill, hopefully someone else does, right? And I think if you're not an engineer, you should go into it. But besides that, I mean, there's a few other things you can throw in there. There's a thing called Seal of Justice, which it looks like a golden fist. It has a chance to proc a 2-second stun. You use this against really high damage players. You see a warrior with BRE, right? You see a warrior with Spinal Reaper. You pop that Seal of Justice on, dude. You stop his damage as much as you can. The second he gets stunned, swap over Seal of Command, judge him. Judgment's not on GCD, right? So you judge him, boom, swap back to Seal of Justice. You do that as much as you can. It's going to cost a lot of mana. It's not mana efficient, but sometimes you just need to blow it, right? On to the next one.
Get me! Oh no! Dude!
Dude, it's
close.
so RNG.
It's really RNG. You would have beat me if I didn't resist a stun. Dude, that was so close. That was so close.
What are you supposed to do? Like, I only have 2 buttons. Like,
No,
what
you
am
don't.
I doing?
That's your problem, dude. You're not making more buttons for yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Trust me. Those invisible buttons that you don't see as a Paladin, guys. Paladin gameplay is actually very, very secretly. It's about movement.
So we're going to talk about Ret Prio. Something that a lot of people don't know about. With Ret Prio, everyone's going to hate you. I'm going to be completely honest. If you're gearing for PvP as a Ret Paladin, everyone's going to hate you. Okay? Now, I've seen a lot of guides on Paladins going around and saying gearing as a Ret is really easy. It isn't, personally. I don't think it is. Gearing as Ret can be one of the weirdest but most fun World of Warcraft experiences a person can have. That's due to the spec being so, undiscovered, right? Compared to other classes. Knowing this, I'll tell you, what I found. Like really good success with. And note, by the way, 100%, this is with my Deep Red build. This is not with Reckoning. I use Deep Red build, so just giving an FYI. Number 1 prio. Your number 1 stat you want to have is agility. It sounds weird, I know. You're a paladin. You're You've got Hand of Rag, you still want agility. Paladins have the #1 scaling with agility for crit in the entirety of Classic World of Warcraft. They're on par with Warriors. Warriors and Paladins have the same 20 agi equals 1 crit. That's crazy easy to build, right? Your agi gives you attack power and crit. Crits, you want to go for crit, right? But if you can fill an agi there too, every little bit helps. And honestly, I'm dodging a lot in PvP, and it helps a lot during certain fights, certain classes, getting those dodges in. We also have our #2 stat is strength and attack power. This is gonna make you hated by warriors, 100%. You're gonna it's just not gonna be fun for them when you ask for their gear. You're gonna be in dungeons, and they're just gonna be like, nope, you're not taking that. You're not gonna take that. Nope. But you just have to explain to them it's good for you too. You both are plate wearers, right? Just explain it to them. Get that gear. It increases your high baseline auto attack and seal command procs. This is just your base DPS. It's gonna go up. It helps a lot. It's just really big for you. And then thirdly, this is actually one that a lot of people sleep on, even myself sometimes, is Stam. This is HP, right? Just baseline HP. Having more HP means you survive longer in PvP, which means you're doing more damage in PvP because you're alive. Having these is really big for you, so just keep at it, right? I'm gonna give you guys some basic weapons and chest piece and stuff like that I would go for. Demon Shear is really, really good. It's got a high proc rate. Typically, Paladins will have like some spell power gear around here just because they're, like just playing around with Holy and whatnot. So Demon Shear helps with that. If you're still building up that agi. Dreadforge Retaliator is the weapon I use before getting my Bone River's Edge. Just that crit, that parry chance, it's so good. Plus it has a decent drop chance, and it just does good damage, I think. Ogre Forge Hauberk is your poor man's, these two chest pieces, high drop chance, poor man's Savage Gladiator chain. If you get Savage Glad, good on you, my man. But I have yet to get it, and I'm not farming it anymore. Ogre Forge Hauberk is maybe a 1%, less than 1% downgrade from Savage Glad, and it's so good still. You're getting 2% crit out of it, right? Because you have the 1% crit plus 20 agility. You're getting 8 strength, decent amount of intellect, which is helpful, and a whole bunch of stamina. So this is a really good chest piece for you. Death Dealer Breastplate, sort of the same thing. It's phase 1 poor man's Savage Glad. It's just 2% crit. It's really good. Go for both, right? Ogre Forge is obviously better, but if you get one before the other, just be happy. Another one is Hand of Justice. It's just more attacks, right? You hit more, you get more procs. It's good. Get it. It's actually good. And Mark of Fordring. This is a neck piece from a quest line. Go do it. It's a hard quest line. It's fun though. You get to meet Tyrion Fordring from Wrath of the Lich King. What's better than that, right? Like seeing the OG. Well, I guess not technically. Oh, whatever. We'll go into that later. All right. Up next is matchups, right? Some things you have to know about Paladin. I personally, 100%, do think Paladins are one of the more competitive classes. Now, they are definitely not the best. I will say that they're not the best. But there's always a chance of winning. And when you're playing Ret, just pray to that RNG, my man. The main classes you're going to struggle with are S-Priest and Log. They're what I call your worst nightmare. Your best way to beat them is, one, you want to have some shadow resist on, right? Put on that shadow aura. Always have that on. Every auto attack you do has to be doing the maximum amount of damage you can think. So that means every time you get close, you're using Seal of Command, Judgment. You're using, you seal, judge, seal. That way the hit actually gets a seal on it. You might be stunning to do more damage. You might need to push a bubble, right? Use bubble as a offensive tool rather than a defensive tool. Sounds weird. A lot of people don't like doing it, but trust me, it's gonna get you more kills, right? These players that play these classes are playing the game on easy mode when it comes to PvP. So show them no remorse. Lay on hands. Pop some pots. Go in. Use a FAP, dude. All in, dude. No hold barred. Alright, now we're gonna go on to the third hardest class to beat is a hunter. Right? Hunters, I personally think, are not as hard as people think, but still pretty hard. They use Viper Sting, which is gonna drain your mana. You can cleanse it though. A lot of people don't do that. You have to spam cleanse when you make a keybind that's next to your finger on your keyboard and just tap that button, dude, over and over and over. Pop a Blessing of Wisdom on yourself. During the fight, before the fight, when you're out of the scatter shot, when you're out of the freezing trap, pop that Blessing of Wisdom. Get that extra mana regen because you're gonna go during that fight. Alright? You're gonna go before that hunter does. It's not whether or not are you gonna go you are. Be prepared to be kited. It's gonna suck, it's gonna be a slow and painful thing, but you're just hoping for a mistake. Use Blessing of Freedom on cooldown. Just get close. Use Repentance to bridge that gap between you and him. And they're pretty squishy. So you hit them once or twice and they're gonna die. So just make sure you push that gap. Keep on that pressure. And get that kill. Now, mages are my personal favorite to fight. I love fighting mages. I know Melee hates fighting them. I personally love it. I think there's so much uniqueness between the two classes. It feels like we're playing two different video games, but we're really in the same world, right? There's a lot of different specs they have. Identify their spec early in the fight. You see them cast Pyro, but they cancel it. Switch to Fire Aura, dude. What are you doing? Don't keep it in Frost, right? Like, if they're using Frost Bolts that are doing a whole bunch of damage, if you see them Nova CLC, leave it on Frost Aura. Don't switch to, don't go to Sanctity Aura, just maintain it. It's a slow fight, and always identify their spec. Another note is be careful of their counter spell. I wouldn't really hard cast any spells unless you're like Flash of Lights. Go for a couple jukes. That counter spell is gonna hurt. Last thing you want to do, be CS'd for 8 seconds. It's garbage. It's gonna suck, right? And if that happens, you're probably dead. You're gonna want to like juke it. They can blink out of your stuns, which is fine because you have 2 stuns because you're deep breath. A lot of them don't know it. There's a couple tricks you can do, right? You're running up to them, they think you're gonna do it. Jump in Repentance. See how many people blink out of your Repentance. Because you can't do damage during it, but they're gonna think you can. Jump in Repentance. You'll get so many blinks, it's hilarious. After that, walk up to him, Hodge him, right? Hammer of Justice. And just do your damage, dude. Another note. Always cleanse their Frost Armor. It reduces your weapon swing timer. And cleanse isn't a super mana intensive thing. I tend to find mage fights aren't really long, so I tend to have a lot of mana, whether or not I lose or win. I always have mana. And of course, mages, literally the epitome of a glass cannon. Warriors, the scary ones for me, to be honest. A lot of people say a warrior should never lose to a paladin. I beg to differ. Find a warrior with Obsidian Edge Blade or BRE and tell me you're not gonna lose to him. You will. It's whether or not like how well you're gonna lose or how well you're gonna win. There's no in between. Warriors, it's 100% a DPS race, right? They do a lot of damage. The trick I told you earlier, Seal of Justice, do it. 2-second stuns, huge. Go for stuns early, go for stuns fast, go for the quick kill. Don't hold back. Bop is useful unless you know that they're an engineer. If they're an engineer, Bop's not gonna work. Grenades go through that shield. It sucks. I know it hurts. Yeah. So overall, that's really the basis of how to fight a warrior. And it's sort of like if they disarm you, you just kite them. There's a couple kiting tricks you can do. Joust, which just play it smart. Rogues, fun to fight against too. I know I'm saying a lot of them are fun, but I really enjoy fighting all these classes. Besides the nightmare ones, they're fun to fight against. They do a lot of damage in their stuns. When you're stunned, you know what I do when I'm stunned? This is what I do. That's me slamming on my stun button. That's me slamming on Hodge. waiting for me to get out of this stun so I could possibly hit them with the stun, right? And it's really who can kill who first. Who can do more in the stun first, right? There's a couple tricks you can do. Count their abilities. Normally 4 is what I think of. When I see 4, I bubble. It gets rid of they typically want to like eviscerate at the end of that. And 4 is like my sweet number. They do that, they waste their combo points, and I'm in the clear, I'm bubbled, I hodge, I do damage. Or I heal myself, right? It's just a fun class. Concentrate to get them out of their stealth if you think you know where they are. Changing the flow of the fights really well against rogues. They like to get in their rhythm, their jazz, right? But if you change that rhythm, they tend to lose a lot. They're nothing without their CDs. If you can get a full reset, if they go stealth, they don't have any cooldowns, you'll probably win. To be completely honest, as long as you max health. Keep that Devo aura on though, right? You need that against rogues. Druids. Low-key hard. A lot of people sleep on druids. I think there's a lot of bad druids. But the good druids that are out there, ooh, they're scary, dude. They're scary. They're the masters of kiting, alright? These dudes will literally run away from you for like 30 minutes and just moonfire you to death. I think the key to fighting a druid is getting them when they're out of form. A lot of times they try to like maintain a rejuve, or they'll try to pop a heal real quick. Hit them with that repentance. They don't expect a 30-yard stun. They don't. You hit them with that repentance, and it's easy peasy, dude. You know, you walk up to them, you get that judgment in, you hodge, dead, dude, dead. Literally, when fighting these guys, Freedom the Root, cleanse the Moonfire, cleanse the Insect Swarm, easy peasy. Pharaoh's easy, Moonglow's hard. There we go, dude. Moonglow's just their DPS heal spec. It's super weird. Shaman. Literal counters for red paladins. Every ability they have counters a paladin, and it's dumb. I don't hate them for it. I hate Blizzard for it. It's fine though. They have great utility. They're great in groups. They're the equivalent of the paladin, right? Every shaman wants to be enhancement shaman, but they can't because it's garbage. It's fine though. They do great in groups. Their totems are great. If you see an enhancement shaman, hit the Wind Fury totem. If you see an Ellie shaman, just run. They do a lot of damage right now. High sustained damage. Chain Lightning's crazy good against groups, and they can almost two-shot you with Chain Lightnings. Get your stuns off early. Maybe bubble for an offensive tactic if you feel that concerned about it. Don't cast any long heals. So no holy lights, just flash flashes. Their shocks actually are counters, or counter spells. So that's huge. It hurts a lot when that happens. You know, that's pretty much an instant death. If you see one with a Hand of Rag, dude, like, one, take it in, but just take it as a challenge and go for it, man. See what happens. Now you're a meme spec. All in all, dude, Paladins have some really good depth to it. A lot more than you would think. There is RNG when it comes to your procs and some of your gear. They're really gear dependent, just like warriors. A lot of people are going to talk crap to you. I wouldn't recommend this class to anyone unless you really enjoy playing a paladin. The aesthetic of a paladin is great. The community for paladins is great. I still wouldn't recommend it. The key to being a good ret paladin is to get some friends and do stuff together. Your utility makes you so good in a group. Literally get a couple buddies, go out, do some Warsong Gulch, go to Dire Maw, camp outside that dungeon, and just have some fun, do some stuff. Your 1v1 is fine, but dude, that group content is so great, right? Well, that brings us to the end of the video. Don't forget to leave a like and comment, and also follow me on Twitter. There I'll post if I do any more videos or if I'm gonna stream.
Guys, I just want to come over here to let everyone know that if you play Alliance, you're a huge fucking cuck. You're a loser, you don't have a lot of friends, and no one really likes you. Specifically Paladins on the Alliance. If you do that, you're a turbo cuck. You're just a complete fucking dipshit loser. Just wanted to let everyone know that's the overall general opinion of most people. And just wanted to make sure and double down that you all understood that. So, enjoy the stream, have a good time, just keep in mind, that's the truth.